So I just watched Vinyl Richie's latest video, and in the course of a minute, he mentions Metallica, Walmart, and Arby's. Vinyl Richie's fucking sold out, guys. Like, I expect product placement before too long. Ads galore.
Digital gramophone makes no sense.
How's everybody doing? It's John here with another video. So I have a couple of videos that I'm still editing or whatever. They're just not ready to post. And I don't know. I just kind of felt like recording something. I don't know why. I thought I was going to have one of those posted this past weekend, but we've got a lot of stuff going on at the house right now. And, so I don't know. I just felt like doing something off the cuff. Talk about some records that I bought recently. I went and met up with Dave this past weekend. But first, let's talk about Dom at Seekingathread, who's in Ithaca, New York. Dom has just started making videos within the last few months. He's been watching VC videos for some years, and probably even longer than I have. And but he's just never made his own. And then he's one of those guys that starts making videos, and I'm like, see, there are all these people out there like Dom that should be making videos instead of jackasses like me. So you should be watching Dom's channel instead of mine. How about that? Dom did a video about Zamrock, which is great. And I started buying Zamrock records for the first time at the beginning of last year, like pre-pandemic. And I had heard a song by Witch in the closing scene and closing credits of an episode of Watchmen on HBO. And the song knocked me back. And then when I discovered who it was, and I'd seen the name Witch before, seen their albums reviewed, and I just went down this Zamrock rabbit hole, a mini rabbit hole. It wasn't like too in depth, but I picked up a couple of a few Witch albums. I have 3 Witch albums. I have Africa by Aminazi, a couple of records by this band, Ngozi Family. So this one and the other 2 that I'm about to show were put out in a box set, The Story of Zamrock by Vinyl Me Please. It was a box that I really wanted to get, and I just waited too long, and then I missed it. It just sold out. Dom, in his Zamrock video, talked about how all these albums were getting standalone, or I knew that they were gonna get repressed. I'd read online they were gonna get repressed, and then Dom in his Zamrock video talked about how they were starting to come out, and I'm glad that I saw that, because this sometimes releases like this and this shit from like Now Again and Strawberry Rain or whatever, like it just goes right past me. Like I just miss announcements, and they don't really send like emails and stuff all the time. But Dom works at a store, so he saw them coming in, and so that was great. So I hopped on them and ordered a few. And this was the one that I was the most excited about, because the 2 Ngozi Family albums that I already have are just fantastic. I would much rather own records by this band than all these other obscure, harder, heavy rock, albums that a lot of the psych channels talk about and stuff. And because this is just so much more interesting to me, and it rocks just as much. It's almost proto-metal, some of this stuff. And I've been worried, hesitant about Now Again's like recent quality control, but this was done well. The other one that I picked up was Dots by Fireballs. So the box set was curated by Now Again and Strawberry Rain. And I can tell by the cover of this one that if it was just the individual companies putting these records, like this is more like in the quality that Strawberry Rain puts stuff out in. It's a thicker card stock sleeve. You know, it's glossy. I'm more of a matte guy myself, but it's nice, really nice sleeve. But this sounds like nothing of the other, doesn't sound anything like the other Zamrock albums that I have, which I like. And I won't say that it exactly like goes into pop territory, but it's just not the same kind of like rock, not all of it that I get from a lot of the other albums. It's very organ heavy, like early Procol Harum, kind of like very atmospheric organ. Sounds really cool. It's got like, it's just great tonality to it. But this is a really cool album, and one that I will probably return to quite a bit. The third one that I picked up was this Ricky Banda album. And this is really cool too. This is very different sounding as well. It's kind of dark almost. Kind of mysterious. Yeah, it's a really cool sounding record. Again, not as charging as like Ngozi Family or anything like that, but it's got its own style to it, its own style, and definitely a unique listen. Ricky Banda plays pretty much everything on this. There are 3 other guys that get that are credited for playing drums. Check out Dom's Zamrock video. It's really good. He has several other videos that are kind of on genre focused. He has like a 3-parter on krautrock that I still haven't finished. Those were the first ones that I saw by him. This past weekend I met up with Dave from Localbandography. Dave and I live in the same town, and we occasionally meet up for digs. He and I met at Premium Sound, which is located inside of Tip Top Daily Market, which is kind of like this, hip specialty like grocery store. And on one side of the building, and then the other side of the space is the record store that this guy named Luke runs. And he does a fantastic job. The place is super dangerous. There are incredible finds in there. If you are ever in Charlotte, aside from hitting up Dylan at Noble Records, that a lot of you already know, so that's probably going to be the first place you go, which is fine. And then Lunchbox Records, which is our great record store and a fixture here in town. And I would definitely check out Premium Sound at Tip Top Daily Market if you're in town. Dave got like a 30-minute jump start on me because I was having some car trouble, so I had to Uber out there because I didn't have time to figure out what it was. And so I Ubered out there. And anytime you give Dave like a 30-minute jump start, that just means that he's not only shopping for himself, he's shopping for you. So as soon as I walk in the place, right away, he's like, all right, I got some records picked out for John. I saw all these and I was like, these are for John, like right away. Well, he showed me about 4 or 5 records. Luckily, I already had 3 of them. But he recently saw me post this on Instagram that I was listening to this, which is Lasting Impression of Hugh Masekela. And this is like more performances from a live session, live recording. What's the album? The Americanization of Ooga Booga, I believe. So this is more recordings from that. So when Dave saw that I had spun that, he saw this in there. And this is Hugh Masekela, and Home is Where the Music Is. And I haven't, again, I'm talking about a bunch of shit that I haven't spun yet. This is from 1972. It's on Blue Thumb. So I'm looking forward to really diving into this, and maybe I'll talk about it later in my news segment called the Spin Zone. Oh wait, Jeff does that already. So I caved and I picked that up because I had an agenda and I have an agenda that I'm sticking to this year. I'm not going to unveil what that full agenda is. I've told some other folks, but I'm not going to do that in video. But I have an agenda this year. I have a goal. And so I was just going to pick up some new releases. One's a reissue. And so he talked me into that. So that actually kept me from buying something else that I had planned. But while we were in there at Tip Top, I bought Mogwai's newest, As the Love Continues. These guys, I don't think you can really go wrong with any Mogwai album, you know. Obviously there are records that are better than others. I have my favorites. Recent years, they've been working more and more kind of like electronic sounds into their post-rock, and this it's like fully integrated now, but it's also fully integrated with the heavy. I keep buying records from these guys. And I don't even buy Craig Finn's solo shit, but I keep buying their records. This is the Hold Steady's latest THS. So I picked that up at Lunchbox. We went to Lunchbox after Tip Top Daily Market, and I picked that one up, and then I picked up Stories from the City, Stories from the Sea by PJ Harvey, the latest of her reissues from 2000. This is the one. I'm not the only person that said this. I know that this is, for most people, this is kind of like their favorite by her. This has been my favorite by her for a long time, and one that I've been waiting on a reissue for. I saw a lot of people pick up the bootlegs of this, and now it's just like, no, I'm gonna wait. And waiting paid off. I try not to do this, and I'm not. This is the last time that I'm ever gonna do this, and I mean that. This is the last time I'm ever gonna kind of have one of these where I'm kind of editorializing on the vinyl community or whatever. But I feel like a lot of times, I've even been guilty of it myself. I think a lot of times we all all of us have been guilty at some point or another of taking this shit like way too fucking seriously, you know? And I mean from all angles. I'm not talking about a certain faction of the vinyl community, or, you know, whatever. Like, you know, Vinyl Richie will get down in the comments and be like, oh, there's a lot of vinyl communities. I know there's a lot of vinyl communities. Come on, I know, whatever. The point I'm making is that I feel like everybody at some point has been guilty of taking this shit a little too seriously at times. Including myself. I've made a couple of bitchy comments towards people about like behavior that I'm just kind of not a fan of or whatever. But at the same time, like, I don't really care about this. Like, I do this for fun. I care more about the music and buying the records and shit like that than I do making these fucking videos. But yeah, I mean, you know, there's all, you guys know what I'm talking about. There are all these people that bitch about VCLT, and then all these other people that bitch about the live streams, and all these other people that bitch about people that monetize their channels, and they're not real VC channels because they monetize, and there's all this fucking, there's no fucking like rules to this shit. And we all know this. People know this, what I'm talking about. But I've been talking about it a little bit more with some people outside of the videos and outside of YouTube. And I just really feel like people just need to fucking relax. And I'll even say that to myself, you know, in some cases. I'm kind of embarrassed even in some cases, you know, about things that I've said or whatever. I love watching these channels like Madam Sin. It's so much fun. I watch all these channels. Now I'm really just rambling. I watch all these channels like John in England and Birmingham, who has this amazing rhythm and blues and soul and disco and dub collection that I at times I'm watching, I'm just like, man, I wish I like had like a lot of those records. And then, you know, I've watched people like Dan at Dots and Loops when I first started watching videos. He was one of the first channels that I kind of latched onto, and seeing a lot of the psych records that he showed. And it was just like, man, some of those would be really cool to own, even though I have different opinions about that shit than some people. I think a lot of it's fucking overrated, but you know, there are all these times where I, you know, even watching Vinyl Richie, and I see his punk collection, and I'm like, man, you know, like, be nice to have some of those records. But in the end, I don't end up going and chasing those records really. But Madam Sin, when I watch his channel, I really want to just throw it all away and start collecting 78s. I have this feeling inside that I really want to do that. I'm not going to fucking do it. Maybe, I don't know, who knows, at some point down the line, maybe I'll sell my collection, 20 years from now if I'm still around, and I'll just buy expensive 78s or something. I don't know, but I'm just saying but the most what I like about his channel is he's just having fun, you know? That's what I love about Sam, you know, Vinyl Douche. He's just having fun. I think some people just need to fucking relax. Mazzy makes a video about Prague according to Mazzy, and then all these fuckers get down in the comments and they're just so insulting. And me, it's like they don't get it. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. I'm a sports fan. You guys like sports? I watch sports. I'm a big college basketball fan. Yeah, I'm a Duke basketball fan. My dad went to NC State, so I like NC State too. I pull for NC State and a lot of other stuff. But I've always just liked Duke basketball, and mostly because it's not North Carolina, not the Tar Heels. But you know who I don't really hate Roy Williams, and I don't really hate the Tar Heel players. I'm not like that kind of rivalry guy. But Tar Heel fans really annoy me. Cowboys fans really annoy me. Steelers fans really annoy me. When I see those comments and read those comments of Mazzy's Prague video where he's just having fucking fun and just goofing around, it makes me the fans, the Prague fans are the ones that kind of make me not regret never liking Yes. You know, maybe enough rambling for now, but I just kind of felt like doing it. It's what happens when you don't have a plan. Dan's finding grails in ditches. How fucking cool is that? Anyway, yeah, just kind of ran out of fuel there.